Call to order, Buhl City Council meeting, Thursday, October 19th, 2023. Mr.
Sorry, the date.
Oh, did I get a while there?
November 6th.
Apologies. Put the wrong ones in. Buhl City Council meeting, Monday, November 6th, 2023. Mr. Jeffries, please take the roll.
Councillor Hadrava. Here. Councillor Keeley.
Here.
Councillor Loeffler.
Here.
Councillor Towner.
Here.
Mayor Carter.
Here.
Everybody is present. A quorum is here.
Thank you, sir.
Move forward. Administrator Jeffries is here. Engineer Jamnik is here. And various members of the citizenry are here.
Thank you. Ask everybody join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Do we have any changes to the agenda as presented?
We have one addition to the agenda. It is not an agenda item. It is an addition to the claims list. It is a, would you please pass those down? Sure. It is an additional claim for Minnesota Energy Resources. The reason you're getting this tonight is that the bill from MinEnergy amounts are incorrectly applied, and it took time to get the amounts correctly applied, and it is due before the next council meeting, so we just put that on. So the additional $765.86, add that to the claims total, which should bring it to $71,483.90. And add the page I just handed out to your consent agenda claims. And that's the only change in the agenda.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Reports from department heads.
Mr. Jamnik, is there anything you'd like to report tonight, or just as it comes up? Okay, then I'll just...
We had an update on the status on the agenda, but I don't see it, so
No.
you want to
Sure.
talk now or later?
Now would be great.
Okay. Status on Damien's and the punch list for the alley work. They completed the work in Alley F. I have not heard from the property owners. I talked to Tony, he hasn't heard anything. I don't know if he's talked to any of you councilors. You know, we kind of put that swale in the alley. So, haven't heard. It seems like it's working good, but I haven't heard if it's acceptable or anything, so, you know, we'll just proceed like it's acceptable and kind of, you know, go through the process to finish the remaining punch list items. We did get a response today from the contractor, his kind of status report of all the other punch list items that were on the list, so I'll go through that. And I think there's some paving issues they didn't get a chance to do yet this fall, but that's the status on that one. And on the other project, the Damien's Addition, they were not able to get the curb and gutter in, so that's done for the year, or the paving. They still were trying to do the paving on Woodridge. You know, weather's kind of raining today. I don't know. Every time it rains, they get so far behind, further behind on their other projects too, but they were still trying to get Woodridge paved yet this year. They asked us to blue top a parking lot today, so they're planning on paving it this year. And I know Buhl, especially at Woodridge Avenue, is on their list to get done, so that's what I have for an update there.
Hopefully the weather holds out.
Yeah, but the curb and gutter won't be till next year, it's just, or Damien's won't get paved. Gotta get the curb and gutter in first, so.
That being said, are we first on the list for spring?
Yeah, we'll have to revise the completion date and get it in, of course.
Will we have a different cost for us, mean that it'll be in the spring and they're looking for work, waiting for work?
It's
And
still under contract.
It is.
We'll do a time extension and get things completed by Joel and Top, so maybe, typically in the spring we want to pave by, when it warms up, maybe like June 15th, get the final paving done. You know, road restrictions usually come off about May 15th, so you got to get it all scheduled, because they did have it scheduled. Concrete guy, his date, he was on the list, October 31st, and then it rained that week, and it just, so yes, they have a contract to do the work for the same amount, so I don't know if they're gonna be asked. I don't anticipate any cost increase to the contract, so.
Well, the road is at least accessible in there from what I've seen. Anybody working in there, or building their home in there, they can access it now.
Yeah, okay, good. So that's the status I've got on those two projects.
Thank you, John.
Thanks.
Carrying on from that just a bit, there is work going on out there. There is a house being constructed actively as we speak. They finished up their site prep work and poured the slab last week. So it's good that that road is accessible. And then from the administrator's desk, few comments to make. Our Halloween was great. Thanks to everybody. It was kind of a unique time, I'll tell you. I did enter the costume contest, promptly got nothing, lost completely, but did come full forward, and for all ages was the only man in the competition, for whatever that's worth. A lot of good conversation. Thanks to everybody for everything you did and everybody who participated. Next, and everybody's probably sort of aware of this, calendar parking is in effect. And the grace period for warning tickets has probably already expired. And now it's real ticket time. I'm hopeful that there's some considerations that, calendar parking is to ensure that plowing can occur safely and in good fashion. So if there's snow in the forecast or snow on the ground, I think that means a little bit different than if there's no snow, and there could be some considerations, but there shouldn't be any deviation. Calendar parking is in effect, and the Public Safety Police Force is tagging people now for it. And then that's actually all I have tonight, Mayor. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to Citizens Forum.
Got two on the list here, Tony.
Thank you, John. We have two people who have signed up to speak this evening, and Cheryl is first. And Cheryl, would you just please identify your name for the record?
My name is Cheryl Kivy.
Yeah, and then, please.
All right, thank you for letting me speak. I know Mr. Jamnik just spoke about the roads, the project, but and about Woodbridge, and that's part of the project. And I do have some questions here on that, because initially, all of us that have lots up there in Woodbridge, we paid our assessment last year in November, and we're told that this project was going to be completed. And as you can see, it didn't get completed. It didn't get completed because on May 25th, this council had a special meeting And I've got a copy of this special meeting, and I do have questions on this special meeting. What I'm understanding from what's written in here is that, I don't know if the council was told this, that sewer and water, there was service of sewer and water to only 8 of those lots up there in Damien, the new project, and not the other 2, is what this is what it's saying. And so I want to find out why, and modification to that project, why was $160,000 being looked into for more funding? Because my husband and I did, a fellow came down our street the end of October. And I don't know if he worked for Casper, I'm thinking he was with the roads. And we were asking him questions, and he said, well, I want you to let you know that it's not our fault that things are so late. He said, our mayor, our council, and our city administrator stopped us from proceeding and getting this project done. And he said we would have been done by June 15th if this wasn't stopped. So now my question is this: what was this $160,000 that you applied for, which I'm figuring was going up for the new addition? What was that for? I'm asking the mayor, our council.
Yeah. Anybody want to take that? So, back to the Mesabi News article on that project. That was fully funded, is what the...
It was fully funded, I know, we were told it was fully funded. There was no more money needed.
Do you remember the amount?
I don't remember the amount, all I know is
it was $280,000.
It was fully funded.
It was fully funded.
No more money was needed for our street, up by the park from Robert Street to Damien, and then the new addition.
Well, this money was in regards just to the new addition.
All right.
That's what that $160,000 was for.
What was that for? What?
John, what is the total cost for that project completed?
I don't recall what the number was, but it was for doing the final paving on the new addition. I think there's overruns on some of the first phase, and I don't think we were looking for more money to do that. I don't understand the comment about the lots, only 8 of the 10 lots.
Well, it's right here. Which could you can come up here and speak.
I just don't understand why all the lots had water and sewer.
I want you to read. This is what was on the May 25th. And if I'm understanding this right, that's what it's telling me. The original preliminary project scope included the development of 10 residential lots with water and sewer service to 8 of these lots, as well as rough graded access roads to service. So what does that sound like to you? That sewer and water was only put into 8 of those lots and 2 of the lots had nothing?
I can't speak to that.
I don't remember us talking about that, but I do remember hearing about it, but that was the previous council.
Can I give this to you? This is your special meeting on the 25th.
I honestly don't remember anybody saying the 8.
Can I bring this up to you and let you?
I believe you. I totally believe you, but I don't remember, that wasn't why we were doing this. We were doing it for the street and this curb and gutters, and we were going to put a better grade of asphalt down, correct?
Yeah.
It was to upgrade the curb and gutter.
So you stopped the project for doing that, which included other parts, like I said, our road and up by the park, which now isn't completed yet. And the other thing I'd like to know is, when you were going to have this special meeting, don't you think a notice to be sent out to the people that have property on Woodbridge, maybe, to let us know that there's going to be a delay from this being done? I mean, we had nothing. There was nothing sent to us, given to us, or nothing to let us know of this delay. And now look at what we've got. It's November. We've got a road that's been milled, and you're still trying to come down and put blacktopping on this when I mean, I don't know anything about blacktopping, but is this gonna cure properly? At night, our temperatures are below freezing.
I do remember when we were in that meeting, and it did say, we asked right out, if we delayed this right now, we would still get the work done before the end of September, I believe. The answer at that time to us was yes.
And we would not have done that.
We would not have done that had we not been told, yes.
But how do they know their projects and the weather?
You don't. But again, September's it's a lot more, you still have October to work with.
I understand.
We were told that it would be done in September, by September. That would be, and we asked a couple times, I remember sitting up here, to make sure that this project was going to be finished for you, and we were.
Is it on tape?
I would believe it is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And we asked about it to make sure that it was going to be done this year if we delayed this project.
And they wanted it to be delayed too.
They asked for it to be delayed also because they were trying to get it done before the all-class reunion.
Is that in the meeting minutes?
It should be.
It's not.
But who wanted it done before the all-class reunion?
That was the actual first. Yes, it was set up to be done before because we didn't want them to be up there when the all-class was going on. So they were running a little behind at that time. So when we asked them if they could hold off and wait for this money, would we still get this project done in September?
But what's more important than getting a road project done or worrying about the all-class reunion?
Well, we didn't want the two to be running together. The all-class reunion had nothing to do with it. We just wanted to then get them out of the way or do it after.
And it was more. Yes.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it was more about the funding.
It was more about getting the funding.
But the funding was paid for.
It was this. What was done was totally paid for.
There was more that could have been done. Yeah.
Now back to, you even read right from your papers there. Rough grade road, right?
No, that
read that part.
Access roads to service them.
Great.
Rough graded access roads, and that refers to the new addition.
Okay.
That is your fully funded project.
Okay.
No curb, no gutter.
Eventually, though, down the road, more things could have been applied to that area instead of doing it, adding it to it all of a sudden when you've got a project that's fully. Oh, how cold is it? Too cold for asphalt. I mean, why was this all of a sudden applied when what was set to be done for this year was this project and doing up
and we were,
the addition.
The reason we went after the funding is because that project was not fully funded. Rough grade dirt roads.
It was fully funded but why didn't you wait then? Why didn't you just complete whatever needed to be done?
Can I answer that? The reason why we delayed it is, like Denise said, we were told it would be finished this year. There would be no increase from the contractors, and it was going to be completed this year. Now, we made that decision to try and secure funding for the curb and gutter and the blacktop in that project. We were successful. Great. Thank you to everybody who participated in that. When we made the decision to put that on hold, we were under the assumption all of this was going to be done this year. Had that been if we were told that it wasn't going to be done this year, the decision of the council probably would have been different.
Why did this fellow tell us then the project would have been done by June 15th, which is long before the class reunion, if that's what you were taking into consideration?
I don't know who this fellow is.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been because it was going to be pushed right up to that last minute of June if they were behind at that time. Yes, that June 15th was a original date, but it came back to that we can't get it done. We're going to be almost right up to that reunion time.
So were we first on the list?
We should have been. I mean, we should. I don't know where they put us on the list. I mean, we should have been right up there, knowing that they told us that we have this done.
The city got the award was at the end of August, so we knew we had extra money at the end of August. So it was shut down in June, and then the city got the money. It was August.
Oh, so the city goes back on in August, not June?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can't do anything until
Did I
you
say
get...
that wrong?
Oh, okay.
This was started last year in
Yep.
2022.
Right.
And they had it all worked out that the last work they were gonna do was to do curb and gutter and paint. It was all, according to Ryan, that was all paid for, all budgeted to be paid for. And then
It wasn't.
we went after more money. So,
Why wasn't that done sooner then? Were you not able to?
Just the schedule.
Why did you wait until May? But this all came up for May for going after more money.
I believe you could answer that because, yes.
I definitely can. I advised the council and I made some contacts and we found out that we might be eligible for some additional funding. We called that special meeting of May 25th on purpose because we had to make that decision very quickly because there was a closing date for applying for that funding. We applied when the council made that decision, and long story short here, you cannot do any work. Any work that would have happened would not have been eligible for that funding. And at the end of the day, we ended up with 161,000 and change more for the city than we had before. But we had to postpone any work in order to have that be eligible money. And as John said, yeah, I think it was the third week of August when that got approved. And that's when immediately the contacts went back out to the contractors that, go ahead, get going.
But John, from what I remember of this, don't you go to the bottom of the list effective August, whatever, and then all the other towns that have been waiting, they come before you?
Our agreement.
Well,
Yeah.
it isn't an agreement, it's the contractor. Is that a true
no,
statement?
he knew
Okay.
that the project was delayed till August or September.
Okay, all
and-
right.
Yeah.
And then we had a meeting with them in September, we're all under the impression it was gonna get done.
Did he say it though? Did he come out and say it will be done?
It was at the pre-construction meeting. I know the mayor was there. I don't know, Tony.
I was there.
I don't know if any of the other councilors were at that
And-
meeting, but
And he
when
said
Joel
then
and
it would be
Saab and
done.
Sabi were here, yeah, they gave us the impression it was going to get done.
And had that not been the case, I don't think council's decision would have went that direction. I mean, everybody in town wants all that stuff done.
It's been a long project. I mean,
It has.
the streets from previously, it took forever, so.
Just like to remind everybody, we have 160,000 plus
I know.
more dollars
why I'm
because
asking
of that decision.
Yeah, but the roads didn't get completed.
But the roads didn't get done.
Nothing got
That's the big
completed.
thing.
You got more money, but nothing got finished. So what good is that when nothing gets completed?
Well, we have had years.
I do want to read this about asphalt though here. It says there are times when asphalt can't be laid because the ground temperatures drop below freezing, resulting in an inability to achieve an adequate level of compaction. It's not possible to put fresh asphalt on the ground if it's freezing or in cold temperatures. So, okay, let's say come next week, I was looking, it's supposed to be maybe 41 through the day, but then at night it's gonna drop. It's gonna drop below freezing every night next week. So I'd like to know how you figure you're gonna get the asphalt laid down on Woodbridge and have it be properly so it cures properly and nothing comes out of that.
Well, I can't answer that question because I'm not an expert with asphalt, but our engineer probably can.
I mean, the paving at this time of year is the base course. You know, we always put 2 layers between us, a base course and a wear course. And we got gravel streets like we have on Jefferson and, you know, the new Damien's Addition. You can get the base course down. If you have any settlement or breakup in the spring, you know, you can fix that before you put the final lift between the summer.
It's the exact same thing they did with the rest of Woodbridge and Whiteside when they did that. Last year or the year before. It was in October.
That was October, but this is November now.
It was
Yeah.
a much colder year.
It's
We
cold now.
had snow on the ground and everything.
Well, we've had snow on the ground here now, we've had everything, it's November, and like I said, are they gonna lay down 2 layers of the asphalt this year? Of course not, just one, and that's what
Their
our,
bituminous plant's open, so they're trying to get as much work as they can, that's reasonable. They know they can't put final lifts on streets and roads, you know, but they could pave other parts of projects that, you know,
but so there'd be only 1 layer put on.
yes,
And when would the second layer be put on?
the spring. But you can drive on the first layer.
I understand that, because our road only had 1 layer of asphalt on it for 42 years. There never was a second layer put onto it.
That's what we found out.
And I also know that the road is not underneath, on Woodbridge there, the underneath is not the proper, for laying down, asphalt. The road conditions underneath.
It's not packed correctly?
It's not, no, and I know that for a fact because we had Paul Keekley, or the city had Paul Keekley come, I don't remember how many years ago, a big area in front of our house, he redid. And he had to dig down because he said the underneath of this road was not right to, and even the fellow we spoke with, that came down our street, he said, your road, this road isn't gonna last. He knows just by, seeing that, putting down the asphalt, it's gonna start to crumble, it's going to start to, have problems.
What they're saying is they put the wrong base down,
I don't think there ever was a base.
whatever's underneath the asphalt.
Yeah, I don't think there ever was a base, because I know way back when that was put down, the whole thing was not done properly when the first layer was put down. So, but
Well,
we've
it
had
did
a,
break up more than we anticipated it was going to because it was thin in some spots.
then
And
there
all
was,
that wasn't paved, it's supposed to put the bituminous down within a week after you reclaim it or mill it down. And unfortunately, that didn't happen either. If it's gonna sit over the winter,
no,
and we probably have to take a look and really to figure out what we need to do in the spring. Put it back,
So maybe
That's why
it's better it sits till spring now, and we can see if there's any issues.
Well, you should be done within a week, and I think they milled it, was it the second week in October?
They milled it in October.
Yeah, so it's been milled for about, that's probably going on a month now.
I mean, if it's below 50 degrees, you cannot put down 1.5 inch layer of asphalt. It should double that to be right.
Yeah, again, I am not an asphalt expert. But that's why we have an engineer who's a professional in that department. If we shouldn't be putting asphalt down,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Wood on certain
If
projects
it's cold,
we
you
don't.
can't compact it. Asphalt has to be a certain temperature when it is put down in order for it to compact right. If it isn't, by the time the trucks get there in cold weather, the asphalt's too cold then, they put it down, it's not warm enough for that roller to compact it down and stay there.
no, I understand that. I don't think it would be in a paving company's best interest to try and put blacktop down if they can't get it down correctly.
And so why was the road graded up? Why was the road?
It was milled because it was part of the project.
You know,
Because they had
the road
hoped to get it all done.
It shouldn't have been cut down if they weren't gonna blacktop it.
But they had hopes that they were gonna get to it, that's the
Agreed.
problem. They didn't, because even up by the park, like I said, that never got completed either because it was all stopped, everything was stopped.
They were either hoping the weather stayed warm or they were just trying to put us off.
Well, council's understanding, staff's understanding, engineering's understanding was all of this was gonna be done this year. And like I said, had it been questionable, council probably would not have made that decision to push that back.
Well, it's hard to know from May to August, September, just exactly what's gonna come about.
It is, and that's why we rely on our engineer, and he works with our contractors, and I mean, we were all under the understanding that it was gonna be finished.
But I still am asking, this project was what it started out to be, and then you went for more funding to improve up there. Why did that have to then, these improvements be combined in? I mean, would it have made a difference to get what was supposedly supposed to be done now than to add these improvements? Like the roads, you're saying that it was gonna be left rough graded and nothing on there. Why could that have waited to be presented into this whole grouping of this road plan?
It could have waited. Opportunities for securing funding for that kind of stuff don't come along every day.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. If you went and got this funding, how quickly did you have to, to say that the project started then after getting this funding?
Mr. Mayor, the technical aspects of the project were not amended or modified this year. That was already existing. It was purely to obtain funding. There were no changes to the scope made. Right, John?
So the contractor didn't meet the contract that the city had between the
He didn't
contractor and the
because they
city.
told him
The
to stop.
contractor didn't meet
But
the
they told him
contract
to stop.
But they stopped
No, they told him to stop.
They stopped the
And
contractors
then that
from doing
contract
it
should have
because
been
they were applying for more money
Right.
to upgrade up at the new
So
addition.
then why wasn't that contract renegotiated? Or why wasn't a penalty put in there if it didn't get done?
That's not.
There's no language in the contracts. All these contracts are
It
from,
has a liquidated damage clause.
does it?
But we never secured a revised completion date this fall because we didn't know exactly when things were gonna be started and completed, so this. We had one in May, we had a completion date, it was initially June or whatever, June 15th or June 30th or whatever it was. That was the original completion date. And got postponed, they agreed to hold their prices and, do it in the fall.
And they agreed
Was there
to,
a certain time, like, okay, you put it off, right? Was there a certain timeline? that you put it
by
off
the end of
till?
construction season.
Okay, we're gonna put it off until middle of September. Was that said? And in a contract?
Yes, we were
It was said
told.
not in a contract.
Yeah, but it wasn't a written
Not in a
contract.
contract.
See, so you can't enforce
So
it.
that, then you can't see if there's no contract.
I mean, it should have been renegotiated and in a contract. Re-signed. Now, is there any way you can get a new contract with them for the spring to get it done and with a penalty or something?
Pretty sure we're bound to what contract we hold right now.
I mean, the old contract is expired, basically. So we don't have a contract with them, period. They could come back and say, we'll get it done when we get it done.
Well, I mean, we don't get paid for it, I guess.
Yeah, but then we sit with these roads in the condition that they are. Which, I don't know, it just seems like nobody seems to care about projects like these getting done.
No? Yes, we do. We all care. The whole community
It
does.
doesn't appear to me
There
that
should be
you
a
care.
timeline.
And also,
If they don't get it done, there should be a penalty.
I agree. And any contract moving forward with this council, there will be.
But it's too late for this.
Right, we discussed this.
It's too late for this.
Yeah, we're gonna have to live with what it is now.
That's what I said. We have to live with what the situation is.
I mean,
Until spring.
Now it's too
Until
late.
spring.
Get it done.
Mr. Jamnik, do you remember the date when the contract was executed?
It was fall of '22.
Thank you.
And there was a completion date in the spring. So part of the negotiation we had with the contractors, they said, okay, we'll do it in the fall and we'll hold our price. But we weren't anticipating a price increase. That was the negotiations we had with them.
Who made that decision? That it be done in the fall? Did the council?
Well, we was waiting on,
we anticipated that decision.
We anticipated the funding come through in August or, which it did, or September, whenever the IRRP was gonna meet. I think it was in July or August. I don't
It
know.
was
There
in
was a
July.
date, we didn't know the exact date in May, but we didn't know what the city was gonna get money, we didn't know.
Are they going to
couple
hold
things.
their same price for next fall?
As far as I know, they were.
Yeah, are they gonna come back and say, we want a new contract, but it's gonna cost you more? Then what are you gonna do? You got no contract that says anything.
Aren't we holding some money back from them till the project is completed?
We are holding retainage, yes.
Do they have the right to say, we want more money?
Well, I suppose anybody could say that. I guess we could then decide if we what we wanna do. Continue the
You
contract.
just say no, and they can say, well, we're not gonna do the job then.
Right.
Then you're gonna find somebody else.
Yes.
And somebody else is gonna charge you more too.
Right. And then we go another year with possibly nothing done.
I mean, the city's pretty well stuck with what the contractor wants to do.
Yes, and moving forward, we will be making sure that for us to have the upper hand in things like this, because everybody in the community is frustrated with it. Council, staff, everybody who lives here is frustrated with it. The reason this council pushed that off was to try and secure funding to put curb and gutter in that new development, to make it more
Could you have
appealing.
separated it out and gotten these people's streets done first and stopped the project up there and possibly ordered your new funding, which I can understand, and then when the new funding came in, they could come and finish that section
Right.
up there.
Right.
But these people could get their road.
Right.
I think part of the
that's what I
pricing
meant.
was because they were already gonna be in town to do the addition.
Well, did you
so they were
even
gonna do
ask,
this
or
at the same time.
nobody thought of it?
When they
so-
originally put them together, it was because they would already be in town.
I was
So
told,
if we wanted to separate it, I would have assumed they'd bump the price up again.
No, I
a year
meant,
ago.
did you have that option a year ago?
A year ago,
I mean, I'm sorry, in the June 15th.
May, oh, you mean when they said
When
they were
this
gonna be
gentleman said,
completed,
we're, you
June
know,
15th
and they had a meeting on
completion.
May 25th, at that
Right.
point was their discussion that, okay, let's separate it out. Order your 160,000 or try and get your funding, but yet these people, let's go ahead and get these people done, finish one half of the
Right.
project.
Right.
I don't know, I'm
Yeah,
just
I mean,
asking.
I don't remember it coming
You
up,
never
but I would
discussed that.
I would assume that if we
No?
would have tried to do that, it would have raised the price.
Well, you don't know that until you ask.
I don't know that.
Oh, there'd be two mobilizations of their equipment, so it would increase their price.
I understand, but they also didn't get half their money either.
The other thing is curb and gutter and pavement in that new development. Not saying that this funding will cover all of that, but if the city was to go and pave that and put curb and gutter in there, how do we pay for it?
Because you're not paying the full amount of money, you're only paying for these people's streets, which is a portion of that money.
and mine is Clink's Way, it's not Wood.
And that was supposed to be part of it too, because I've got a
Yeah.
form here, right here, that's saying
I was
Cliff's
told
Way was part of
over
it
a year
also.
ago, I was told Clink's Way would be done in August this year.
I'm pretty sure they removed Clink's Way last year.
Well, I don't know, I've got a form right here saying Cliff's Way,
When is that
Woodbridge
dated?
Avenue,
How old
When
is
is that
that?
letter dated?
8/16/22.
Oh,
That's what I got.
that's a year.
8/16/22.
It's over a year.
That's what I said.
Maybe they did it in January or end of the year, 22.
I don't know.
I know Clink's Way needs curb work because where the sewer went through, it's all sunk and the curb is busted up. Before they can blacktop it, that's gotta be fixed. So the contractor gonna be responsible for that, or the city gonna have to pay for it? That's all gotta be negotiated with them. To me, it's part of their job to fix it, just like they had to do cement work on Woodridge.
Yeah.
You know, that's on the contractor, they're getting paid for that already.
I do have one more thing. When you were saying curbing and all that for the new, I was told that that was all figured in this
The
project.
287.
In the $280,000?
Whatever the cost was, I was told it was all figured in.
We all were told
Curb and
that.
gutter was all figured in.
Who told you that? That guy? The gentleman that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That it was
I don't know who your guy is.
It was
I'm sorry.
Second bid with Joel and Sop had the paving and curb and gutter in it.
Okay.
The first contract was Casper, we just did the water and sewer.
So it was paid for?
It was budgeted to be
Budget.
paid for,
Yes.
yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
And that's what I said.
I told
And
him
all of
before
that
I
was
think he's wrong.
budgeted to be paid for.
I don't agree with, say that
That's the
again.
memo Ryan wrote to the council before they wrote, last
Got
year's
it right
council
here.
awarded the bid,
I got it right here.
Joel and Sop's bid or Casper's bid?
Joel and Sop's.
That's the second part of it. The original contract with Casper Construction, the line items in there, John put the line items together, do not have curb and gutter.
That's correct, they don't.
So the original,
That bid included Woodridge,
Yeah,
Jefferson, the, what else, all that work by Seville, by
as
the ankle.
add alternates to the base bid that was ultimately accepted by previous council.
Yep.
Yeah.
that's right, the pavement and the curb and gutter were for that development was
So
rolled
bottom
in.
line, they were short $160,000.
More than that.
Oh, okay, more.
Yeah.
More.
It's more.
That project
Well,
up there
but nobody's
cost,
seen that, so.
nobody talked about it. That project
Right,
up
but he
there.
would know that.
That project, to put those 10 lots in there, like when we read the newspaper article that said it was fully funded at $280,000,
That's correct.
I read it myself in the Mesabi Daily. That did not cover that whole project.
And you've got it all broke down to show that you had 280,000 and it was going to cost 160,000 more.
Well,
No, yes or no?
that was the amount that we could get.
Okay, you can get.
If
How short are you?
That depends if prices hold.
Well,
No,
if prices held right today.
Oh, I'm gonna have to really take an estimate here,
Come on,
Mel.
Tony,
Well,
just,
it's-
come
it's
on,
an
give me
Probably
this.
60 to 70,000.
Short. Okay.
Okay, could that be assessed to the property owners that bought them lots?
Good question. I hate to do this, but we have to conduct city business here. So if you'd like to continue our conversation, come back to another meeting, please.
Another meeting?
Yeah. I mean, so, no,
All right,
before you.
I understand time is up, but the thing is, like I said, I don't want anything laid down on that road if temperatures are not desirable.
No, I agree.
To
We
be
can
done.
all agree on that, definitely.
And I don't know how our city crew is gonna plow down that road. I don't know if any of you have come down that road.
I agree.
How they're gonna plow. And if there is any damage done to the curbing and stuff, you definitely shouldn't be going after the city crew.
No, agreed.
It's not gonna be their fault.
Agreed, and we dealt with this last winter too with brand new curb.
Or possibly to be fixed. It was a poor road to plow then, and it's even worse now.
Oh, it is. I was just down there for Halloween.
It's even worse now. And so that's
I wish-
all I have to say.
I wish
but
we had a
do
better
not want
answer right now.
Anything done if it's gonna be too cold for having the asphalt properly to cure or whatever needs to be done.
And John, the engineering and the contractors obviously know better than to pave when it's too cold out, correct?
That's correct.
If the product can't be applied correctly, they're not going to do it, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, I'll say, we agree with you. Yeah, that's correct.
All right.
And I'll answer your question about the assessments. The assessments you have to have before the start of a project, they have to know that there's an assessment on the project. So the project's already started, so we can't assess them at this point.
So you're talking about up the new,
Right,
the new
because the
lots,
project is
people
already
that
started.
already bought
You
lots.
put that out, you put that out at the beginning of the project, what it's gonna cost, what it's gonna cost the city, and what it's gonna cost those
Right.
people that own those properties.
Right.
And those are assessed due to footage. And then, you have your price per foot. But that's done before a project starts. To start it to tell somebody they have an assessment in the middle of a project or towards the end, you can't do that. So.
Councillor
Okay.
Keeley, may I suggest that when the project started, there were no owners,
Right,
so.
There's no way to
Nobody
place an
to assess.
assessment.
right.
Why is it costing $160,000 more?
More than $160,000
More.
more.
It'd be probably 60 to 70 on top of that. We only
Yeah,
have
I
funding.
understand that, but I mean, why is it costing that much more to do the project when there was a contract?
That's the cost of the curb and gutter and the pavement,
And
So that's
add
over
on.
and above, that wasn't in with everything else.
not in the original.
Not an original.
Two
And
contracts.
that doesn't include doing the wood bridge and everything, right? That 287 that was covered, that didn't include
There
the
were,
bridge and.
there were two contracts. John, I'm looking for help here. There were two contracts.
$247,000 was the Joel and Saab contract, that included the curb and gutter and Damien's addition, Woodridge addition, Jefferson,
Yeah,
and Seville.
yeah. So the part that was,
$247,000.
And that, we had money for that?
we had money for the other contract, not the.
No, this
not-
contract that he just mentioned.
Not,
Yes.
not the grant money that covered it. We budgeted for
Not
it.
the extra $160,000 they got.
Okay,
No, they didn't, that was added over and above that.
all right.
But the part that they said was paid for, that was the other contract, right? We budgeted for the second one with Joel and Soft, but it wasn't paid for by the grants and whatnot we were getting from the county. That 287,000 that was listed in the paper.
It was interesting, because I got this email to me, got today actually, and I didn't realize it was a memo that Ryan wrote to the previous council dated August 16, 2022. And his plan is how to finance that project, so.
Is this it right here that I've got?
So like I said, I got this later this afternoon, I didn't even know it was in my text until I got here, so I didn't get a chance to look at the whole thing, but that's.
Is that something you can get to?
Of the project,
Is that-
$247,000.
Is that something you can get to staff for review?
Yeah, I'll get, shoot it to Tony, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
I wish we had better answers, but like I said, the council, staff, engineering, we were under the impression all of that was going to be finished this year.
well, so was I.
The whole town was.
I figured it was gonna be done this spring. My thought, that it would be completed this spring. And then the fellow said June 15th, we would have been done. But even if they weren't done by June 15th, even if it took them 2 more weeks, I still don't understand when you say the reunion, that you didn't want, they wouldn't have been working up there over the weekend anyway. So that's why I don't understand where you
We were
figured
just
the
making
reunion.
it, we were just making sure that they weren't going to be working on the weekend, because they do work on weekends. But we were just making sure that there wasn't a crossover, because they didn't hit that June 15th date. They actually had to go, if I recall right, they were gonna hit up to that last week right during the reunion. And we just made sure that they weren't going to be there during our reunion. That was why the reunion got brought up. But the June 15th date was not met.
And you knew they were gonna be working over the weekend, possibly, over that time?
No, we didn't want them to be crossing over into that weekend. We told them that we didn't want them working at all during the reunion. And if we didn't pass this, if we didn't ask them to hold, but they didn't meet the June 15th. They weren't gonna have it done. They were gonna have it done by July 1st. They were gonna have it done by July 1st, and we just asked them not to cross over during that reunion time. So they said, fine, but then we stopped the project.
Until we got word back in August.
Right.
Did you send notices to these people?
No,
saying-
we got no notices to let us know. That's what I said. Nothing was sent to us to even let us know of what was going on here. Nothing, no notice whatsoever. I mean, if we would have gotten a notice, I would have come to this meeting on the 25th. and to question and ask and find out more, but nothing, there was absolutely nothing sent. And then, the way I see it, that was wrong.
And I have to agree with you.
Done by.
I know, I don't want to keep bringing up my job, but I do work in this particular kind of environment. And when we do any kind of we do updates on all of our projects, and we do updates, and John, you probably have seen them or whatever. We're behind now, we've changed this, we send out, I send out 6 to 7, 8 letters during a project where we are and the time frame and if it changes. But again, that's how one city does it. I mean, it's something that we can improve on here.
It was done in the past. It was done in the past. We've got notifications in the past.
We're all learning. I mean, I know about it, but I don't know how Buhl, I mean, I lived with the dirt road up on Robert Street for 2 years. So
that was part of the project.
Right, I don't know. It just part of it was when it gets done.
You knew that it was going on and had to be done. But I mean, we were left with nothing of knowing of, when is this road going, when are you going to start? When are you going to be doing this? And then come to find out, it was squashed.
All we can do is improve. All we can do is move forward and improve. We can't change what's happened. We approved that they stop it. We thought they were going to
I understand that,
and there's nothing at this time we can do.
There was nothing notifying we who lived on Woodbridge, or maybe even those who bought lots up there, who were planning on starting to build sooner. Was anything given to them? They've been communicating with our administration that what's going on here. They actually.
But are letters sent out to them? Because I can find it out.
I just said
Have you been sending letters to all 10 people saying this is coming?
Okay.
This is coming.
Apologies. We have to conduct city business.
I'll just ask my question.
For future reference, there is construction updates held at the council meetings.
Yes, but
if you watch the council meeting videos, you will get the information.
I do watch them.
Good.
But you guys want to be transparent, and that's what you all ran on. Not you, Tony. Okay. I see no special meeting notice for January the 26th. There's nothing on the website that shows there's an agenda, but there is no meeting minutes. There is no meeting minutes.
On the website?
On the website,
okay.
Nothing. There is no meeting minutes for your regular February 21st meeting. There's an agenda, no minutes.
On the website?
On the website. There is a regular union meeting, regular meeting August 1st. There is no meeting minutes. Agenda, no meeting minutes.
On the website?
On the website. Okay. Working session. And I really don't know what they are, but August 1st, I believe it probably would have been for the accountant. There is absolutely no meeting minutes, what that accountant said to you.
On the website?
On the website. Regular meeting, September 19th. I don't know, is it too early to put that on the website? But we're into November, so we have nothing for September 19th. All right. Are there any meeting minutes on your employees' meetings that you break for? I mean, I watched the last, I was here. And you broke and went into a private session. Well, I left because it's a private session. Now, when you came back, I figured in my brain, okay, well, they have to come back and report exactly what they talked about. Not verbatim, and you can't talk personnel, but you can say, we are working on a pre-approved overtime policy, and that's what we broke for. We're making progress. But you said absolutely nothing. Then the fire department gave their report, and you talked about the Halloween and the agenda.
Prior to going into closed session, the reason was stated.
Where are any of those meetings minutes? There's nothing. All right, now we're getting into budget. You've had 2 working sessions for budget. Now, you guys are supposed to be transparent. I see absolutely no agenda, and I absolutely do not see any meeting minutes posted in the post office on your budget to lower the levy.
On a working session?
On a working session, you have to tell.
Mr. Jeffries?
Well, I'm not asking him. I'm telling you, League of Cities says you have to report what you're doing as far as lowering the levy. You have until December something.
Mr. Jeffries, can you touch on the legalities of a working session?
At a working session, no business can be transacted, no decisions can be made.
And who gave you that information?
It is true though, because.
The League of Cities?
It is true. You
Among
cannot
others.
make decisions
League
in
of
working
Cities.
sessions.
You can't make decisions, but you can't even talk about it. Now, how far have you gotten on the levy to lower it? Because, you know, they said, you set it at 16%. Well, that's not where you're going to put it. You're going to come down, 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 down.
Yes.
So how far have you gotten on the down, down, down part?
Well, let me try and touch on all of the things you brought up. The website?
Yeah.
Did you check that a year and a half ago?
I checked it about 5 days ago, 4 days ago, 3 days ago.
Did you care to check it a year and a half ago?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
Was there any minutes on it that were current? No.
Yes.
There was not.
Okay.
Okay, the budget we're working on.
I saw
right.
the minutes. I didn't need to check the website, but okay.
Okay, we're working on the budget.
Okay, but how far have you gotten?
This is not a budget meeting. We have to conduct our business that's on the table. If you would like to attend, they're posted. Please come, give us your input.
Posted? Where are they posted?
Right out here.
Okay, but it's a working session, and I don't see them at the.
That's not a working session, is it?
That's
It's a
what you
special
have it
meeting.
as.
Working session,
Working
yes, they
session.
were
Okay.
posted in the usual 4 places.
Are they?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Minimum of 3 days ahead.
Yep.
Okay, because I do not see anything about your budget. And I don't see one thing about your levy.
It's still in the works.
I understand that. All right, let me give you an example. What I know, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm gonna hurry. Your total budget for 2022, not you people, was set for administrative, which is the 2 people at-will employees in this office, okay? But that includes their salary, their overtime, their meetings, their whatever they need. FICA, health insurance, the whole shooting match. $192,253. To date, you have spent $151,700, which means you have $40,552 to get you through November and December. I'm assuming you're going to make it. Included in that is approximately $500 for travel. To date, you have spent $1,363 on travel. You're still okay because you're within the 192, but you have spent $863 on travel over and above the $500. Don't know why. Okay. Hopefully, you are not going over budget of $192,253 because you've only got $40,552 and you have to pay the health insurance out of that and all the other things that include for over here. Please don't go over because you make me really worried. Library. I did some checking on the library. They haven't requested some additional monies. And since you don't have anything on the website like other towns have, the different departments come before the council and say, I would like $5,000 for whatever. I would like, library would like, I don't know, 5, 6, 10, I don't know what they ask for. Currently, I don't know what you've done with the library, but they have $71,000 cash money. And I just want to say, if that's a correct figure, why don't you give them anything? Plus, they haven't even received their second half. Now, Buhl is due to receive their second half money for property taxes because this is November. We are going to receive money, which means the library is going to get more money, which means we're going to be borrowing money from the library. There's $71,000 the library's got. I'm just surprised that, you know, things like last time you made what I consider a very poor comment. You said, well, first it's the roads and now it's the electric. You should have had what I read in the paper in your packets, $500,000+ in the electrical fund. You asked how much was in there, or you did, somebody did. Ask exactly how much. And Mr. Jeffrey said, well, I'm not at liberty to say because I don't know the exact amount. I would have stopped the meeting and said, go find the exact amount, because I'm not making a financial decision without knowing how much money was in there. I'm sorry.
Well, I believe that you asked how much money was in the fund, and I came back and said, okay, let me rephrase this and say, is there enough money in the fund to cover this project? That's how it was said.
I was over here.
Right, and I believe you said how much from there. You asked how much there was. And he said, I don't feel comfortable saying it.
Well, he had
and then
no
I
right to say
rephrased
that.
it. Well, I rephrased it. Did we have enough?
And the mayor asked. And then you said, Renee said, are you 100% sure, or maybe it was you, Denise. Somebody said, are you 100% sure there's enough money in there?
No.
I'm sure there was.
Yeah, I just asked, let me rephrase it, and I remember what I said. Is there enough money to pay this money? That's how I said it.
Yes.
And he said yes. And no, I did not have any idea how much was in there, but I asked if there was enough. So that's a pretty good answer.
Our mayor asked how much was in there. He asked how much was in there.
Another question I also asked was if Diana was on board with paying that, and Mr. Jeffries said yes.
Well, our point is that everything that you do is public information. There is not one thing, with the exception of employees, of course.
As it should be.
Yes, but everything should be out in the open. Imagine my surprise and 500 other people in this town reading the newspaper to find out what the balance amount was.
The balance of the electric fund.
Wow.
It was presented in the newspaper.
It was.
Yes.
It was.
So everybody, along with Buhl, knew how much money was in our electrical.
Which was fine, because it's public information.
But it's still, we weren't even let known that night. Wouldn't get it.
Transparency needs to be transparent.
We're working on that. That's why we just spent an hour and a half discussing, answering questions.
Well,
that's why we're here.
But so far, I need these meeting minutes, please.
So
And
just to clear,
session, you're telling me I can't get working session meeting minutes. Is that a correct statement?
is there a way to
I'll
take?
call the League of Cities.
Is there a way to take minutes on that?
Well,
even?
sure there is.
The recordings are there.
The recordings are there.
Okay, it's not on the website.
No.
The recordings are not on the website.
There's not video of it. There is audio recordings of all of them.
Okay.
And those are available to the public.
Okay, where are they? Where are they, Mr. Jeffries?
In our offices.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But let me make a comment on the newspaper article for everybody. First off, when asked point blank last meeting, how much is in the electric enterprise fund, I will not throw out a wrong number.
No, but you should have given it to them prior to the meeting.
Not really. How could it predict it?
Because he recommended to use the electrical fund, and if you would have done your research and you could have answered that. They have meetings all the time for every project. We've always used the electrical fund.
I think the recommendation was to go with the overhead proposal rather than the underground proposal because it cost less.
I remember distinctly you said, I recommend we use the electrical fund enterprise money.
I can't comment on that because I don't have that in front of me now.
I do.
Anyway, going forward from there was a reach out from the press about the amount of money in that account.
Okay.
I reached back out to the press to determine why the question was coming about the exact amount in the account. During that conversation on the telephone was when we had time to review the balance in the account, and I gave the number of slightly over $500,000, which is what ended up going into the paper under the heading during a telephone interview with Mr. Jeffries.
Yeah, I read it.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, this is why we're here,
Yeah.
to answer
I
questions.
want those meeting minutes, please.
Well, in regards to that, before January 1st of this year, that website was not hardly functional.
But I got to see the minutes all the time. I read them every single 2 weeks.
Off of the internet?
No.
No, exactly. So,
But if I would have called you, would you have given them to me?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. But how come they're not on the website if
As of January 1st, we asked Diana if she could stay on top of that website.
Okay,
And she
that's
has been for,
Diana.
I mean, she's been doing a hell of a job with it.
yes, I'll ask Diane.
It's, yeah. And if she missed one or something,
Yeah, I'll ask her. I'll ask her.
That's
Now,
who's been
working
running the
sessions
website.
won't be on there.
No.
And my fear, because $40,000 is chump change when it comes to a city, when it comes to paying health insurance and to at-will people paying your salaries. It's not a lot of money. And there is nothing more important than budgeting and roads. You know, Halloween parties are wonderful, but that's way down on the list. People pay taxes and they want to know that their roads, their water, their sewer, their lights, and their budget.
The tower,
The water tower, that's, yeah.
all these projects that are very important.
Well, they're important to me. They're not.
They're important to all of us
And
as a
all
whole.
of us want to know, what are you doing with lowering 16%? I mean, you start out at 16%.
Again, this isn't a budget meeting. We can't sit and
But how come the
discuss
old
it.
well, maybe they did it wrong, never mind. They might have.
No, nobody did it
We
wrong.
actually did do it differently. We actually have special meetings for the budget where
Yes,
they had
and
it
it's
right at.
secretive meetings,
No,
and
it's
that's
not.
what we don't like.
I'm
It's
just gonna
not
use.
secret.
It's not
It
secret.
is secretive. We can't.
Okay, let me answer this. This is the reason we do that is to conduct the budget, the conversations on budget outside of normal city business.
But you can't do that.
We do. It's a working session.
But you can't.
It's an open meeting.
It is an
It's an
open
open
meeting.
meeting, but
Yeah.
it's not recorded.
Well, it doesn't
It is
usually have to be
The
recorded.
law doesn't say it.
It's-
No.
Yeah,
But it is recorded,
Yes.
and it should be
It is.
written.
yeah, and he's got minutes
I
on it.
don't know
He's
how
got the
you'd have to
recordings, but-
transcribe it from audio to text. I mean, there's long conversations,
does, yeah.
and the public is invited. It's open.
Okay. So
If you're
you
interested.
put your working session agenda up on the library, post office.
Yep.
Yeah,
then
there's nothing much to it. It's just,
I saw 'em.
yeah.
I saw 'em.
Well,
But there is no meeting minutes to go with it, so.
no,
that's
it's just
why I
discussion. It's informational. There's no actions taken.
So you haven't voted on anything yet to
No,
lower your.
absolutely
No,
not.
Nothing.
Not
Everything,
allowed
We're going line by line item and looking at it and discussing it.
Okay.
every detail of that budget, we are discussing and going over.
They don't.
Do you speak to each department on as far as to figure out for this levy and the budget and everything? Do you have each department head come and speak to the council?
That was always done at a council meeting, but that's different now.
Well, yeah, and we're working through the process of getting to a final budget, and that's gonna include more meetings yet before we make any decisions.
But
And those
her
are posted.
Her question was, do you have like the head of the library
Right.
come, the head of the fire department come, the head of.
If there's
And
questions we have, yes, they'll be invited too.
And like the street department has recommended things that they want. They
Right.
provide it to our administrator and he puts it into the budget and then we talk about it. So yes, there is communication with him, but not in front of us.
But not with the.
But not with the council.
Right, not with the council.
Why not with the council?
Right.
Why?
If there's something that looks like it needs to be addressed, we will address it.
I mean, if there was something above what they've already communicated through Diana.
But that's not being
Tony.
transparent,
Well,
see? And you guys all went on transparency that the old council wasn't transparent.
We can ask them to come.
No, I'm just asking how you do things because none of us seem to know what you're doing. And when I saw $40,000 for 2 months, I just about had a heart attack. Holy cow.
I don't know how to get more transparent. We just spent over an hour talking, trying to discuss it and answer every question that you've asked.
But all you're saying is this is the way we do it, and you can go to City Hall and listen to the tapes or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not being transparent.
It's all, yes.
But you haven't told anybody that there was even tapes prior to me asking.
Nobody has asked the question. That's what happens. And also, for your information, being transparent, those conversations for personnel, the negotiation stuff.
You can't tell anybody's name. All you can say is what we spent time talking about.
No, those are recorded though.
Yeah,
did you know that?
Yes, but that I can't have any part of, other than the fact that you are talking about raises. Okay, we are working on raises. That's what our private session was about. Let's move on. But right now, to be honest, there are people in town that don't even know if Mr. Jeffries is hired or if he's still on probation. And I don't know the answer because I've never asked.
There's never been anything.
Well, there isn't anything listed, no. But I never asked.
All right, I'm going to have to ask we carry on with city business. Thank you. And please, if you have questions, concerns, come to the council meetings. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. Minutes, regular city council meeting, October 17th, 2023. City council workshop meeting, October 19th, 2023. Claims, payroll number 10 in the amount of $2,475. Payroll number 21 in the amount of $14,673.67. Payroll number 22 in the amount of $14,086.63. Accounts payable number 1 in the amount of $38,817.14. Accounts payable 2, $660.62. Accounts payable 3, $4.98. And then the addition to Minnesota Energy in the amount of $765.86, totaling $71,483.90. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion. I get those numbers right, Mr. Jeffries?
You did, Mayor.
Thank you. It's a lot of them. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda approved. All right, moving on to business. Item A. Accepting Minnesota Department of Health, the MDH lead copper tap water monitoring report and approve distribution of the lead copper results to persons served at the sites that were tested. The city recently completed lead copper monitoring of its municipal drinking water supply at several independent water tap sites throughout the city, as required by the Safe Drinking Water Act. The results of this monitoring revealed that the City of Buhl public water system has not exceeded the action levels for both lead and copper. That's great news. 10 independent water tap sources were sampled in the city, and the samples analyzed for lead and copper concentrations, especially with regard to action levels for these water constituents or contaminants. None of the samples collected approached the action levels for either lead or copper. By federal rule 40 CFR 141.85, the city is required to provide these results to persons served at the sites where the samples were collected, as well as other pertinent information regarding the presence of health effects of both lead and copper in drinking water. Do we have a motion to accept the Minnesota Department of Health lead copper tap water monitoring report to approve distribution of the lead copper results to persons served at the sites that were tested, and to make this information available to all residents of the city?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Mr. Jeffries, do you have anything else to add to that?
Thank you, Mayor Carter. I'd just like to let everybody know that with these two very important contaminants or constituents in water, that you look at an action level based on what they call a 90th percentile level. That's a statistical analysis of, it's a standardized type of statistical analysis approach to go with the 90th percentile. The action level for lead is 15 micrograms per liter. The 90th percentile level was less than 2 micrograms per liter in all of the 10 samples none were over 2 micrograms per liter. With regard to copper, the action level is 1,300 micrograms per liter. Our 90th percentile was 170 micrograms per liter. And of the 10 samples, the high of all 10 was 201 micrograms per liter.
So very good results.
Indeed.
I actually didn't know that copper in a water source is that considered a contaminant now?
Well, they have considered the potential of liver and kidney disease associated with long-term exposure to high levels of copper. So I think that's the biggest thing triggering the action levels for copper, especially with regard to infants and folks with what they call Wilson's disease. Okay. And I apologize, I cannot tell you exactly what Wilson's disease completely encompasses.
With council's action, making this information available to all residents of the city, can you touch on that? City Hall?
I would desire that this be on the website, plus also will be posted at City Hall.
Excellent.
Perfect. And again, the sources of the 10 sites where water was drawn are getting served individual specific communications regarding this.
Excellent. Okay, any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. With nothing else, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. That's good news. Moving on, item B. Close Sharon Street Fund number 424 and transfer present and future balances to the Infrastructure Street Improvements account and Capital Improvement Fund 401. During the annual fiscal review and compilation process undertaken by the city auditor in 2023 for fiscal year 2022, it was noted that certain capital project funds which no longer will have any activity should be candidates for closure. The Sharon Street Fund, number 424, is a capital project fund for which activities have been completed and for which no further activities are contemplated. As such, it is a candidate for closure as noted above. And attached is a memorandum from Diana, finance manager, referencing this fund. An associated motion is also presented for consideration in this memo. All right, do we have a motion to close Sharon Street Fund number 424 with a balance of $19,891.21 and designate the balance and any delinquent payments received in the future to go to the capital designated street infrastructure account in fund number 401?
I'll motion.
Thank you. We have a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, discussion? Pretty cut and dry. Tony, do you have anything to add?
There'll probably be more of these to follow down the course of time as other projects get completed with no further activity envisioned. At that time, we're likely to make recommendations to do the same, move out and close those funds.
Are you aware of the balance of fund number 401?
Now I am.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion is carried.
I should rephrase what I just said. At the time the auditor was here, there are, I don't know, possibly between 20 and 30 funds in the city. and those individual fund balances were reviewed and compiled this year. It was not a complete audit that occurs every 3 years. This was a review and compilation year. But all of those fund balances as of 12/31/22 are checked by and validated by our auditor and are available in our financial report for last fiscal year 2022.
Excellent. Thank you. Moving on to item C, resolution 23-65 for the city to accept a donation to the Buhl Public Library. City has received an offer of donation related to operations at the Buhl Public Library. The library has collected various and sundry funds from fines and other miscellaneous contributions and has offered a donation of $51.25 to the city as a financial contribution towards the Buhl Public Library's operation needs for 2023. Motion to authorize the city to accept a donation from fines and other miscellaneous contributions collected by the library in the amount of $51.25 for 2023 Buhl Public Library program initiatives and operation needs to execute resolution 23-65 concerning the same and to acknowledge these donations with appreciation. Do you have a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none. Being this a resolution, Mr. Jeffries, please take the roll.
Councillor Hadrava.
Yep.
Councillor Keeley.
Yes.
Councillor Loeffler.
Yes.
Councillor Towner.
Yes.
Mayor Carter.
Yes.
Motion prevails.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to item D, resolution 23-66 for the city to accept a donation to the Buhl Recreation Commission. I'm terrible with names, so forgive me. Kelly Gergen, correct? Mm-hmm. All right, excellent. Billy's Pit Stop Pub and Grub and an anonymous donor have offered donations totaling $370 to the city's recreation board as a financial contribution to help offset costs related to the City of Buhl sponsored recreational activities and events. Wow, thank you. Motion to authorize the city to accept a donation from Kelly Gergen, Billy's Pit Stop Pub and Grub, and an anonymous donor to the city's Recreation Commission as a financial contribution to help offset costs related to the City of Buhl sponsored recreational activities and events in the amount of $370 to execute resolution 23-66 concerning the same and to acknowledge this donation with appreciation. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. That's wonderful. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Being this a resolution, Mr. Jeffries.
Councillor Hadrava.
Yes.
Councillor Keeley.
Yes.
Councillor Loeffler.
Yes.
Councillor Towner.
Yes.
Mayor Carter.
Yes.
Motion prevails.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to item E, resolution 23-67 for the city to accept a donation for Buhl Halloween events. CMB Warehouse Distributing Inc. has offered a donation of $250 to the city's recreation board as a financial contribution to help offset costs related to the City of Buhl Halloween events and other related recreational activities. Wow. We have a motion to authorize the city to accept a donation from CMB Warehouse Distributing Incorporated to the city's Recreation Commission as a financial contribution to help offset costs related to the City of Buhl Halloween events and other recreation-related activities in the amount of $250 to execute Resolution 23-67 concerning the same and to acknowledge this donation with appreciation.
I'll motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. Oh, thank you to CMB Warehouse. That's awesome. Man, our communities are awesome around here. Any further discussion? Thank you, CMB. All right, hearing none. Being this a resolution, Mr. Jeffries, please take the roll.
Councillor Hadrava.
Yep.
Counselor Keeley.
Yes.
Counselor Loeffler.
Yes.
Counselor Towner.
Yes.
Mayor Carter.
Yes.
Motion prevails.
Thank you, sir. Item F. Consider sponsoring a page in the MIB yearbook, the Laurentian. Mr. Jeffries, would you like to take this one?
Thank you, Mayor Carter. The Mount Iron Buhl Public Schools memorialize each school year with a yearbook known as the Laurentian. The city has received a solicitation to consider sponsoring a page or pages in the Laurentian to support the students and otherwise gain public exposure. Sponsoring pages in the yearbook is a great way to show and demonstrate care for the community, the school district, and the students. The cost of sponsorship is $75 per page, and it is good and sound municipal policy for the city to support the community, including the school district and the students. So the recommendation from staff is for the city to sponsor a page or pages in this yearbook.
Thank you. I'm all for that. Legalities of that, can the city make that donation?
Mayor Carter, my research suggests that we can contribute to the betterment of youth and their programming. And this, I understand, the Laurentian is actually created by the youth, by the students, and compiled by the students and put together by them. Maybe the printing is done professionally, but this is completely a youth-centered and created activity. So I believe there is no legal issue with it.
Okay, perfect.
Should we make a motion and second to vote?
Yeah, do we have a motion to authorize the city to support the Mountain Iron Buhl Public Schools yearbook, the Laurentian, with a sponsorship in the amount of $75 per page for, I'm gonna say one page, in the 2023 to 2024 edition, and to congratulate the students of Mountain Iron Buhl Public Schools on their achievements and accomplishments.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Discussion. I just threw the number of pages in there because I had to. If you guys would like to change it,
Have we done this in the past?
I am not aware.
No?
we'll make our decision a little easier. Show of hands. Should we do it? Got 2 yeses? There's your public opinion.
Small sample.
A small sample.
It's not up to them.
Well, no, it's not.
It's not our decision.
It's not.
And you know what?
But your opinions are valued. That's the point
Well,
here.
they're valued, but that's not our decision to make.
No, it's
And you
not.
have children that live in Buhl that don't go to this school.
They don't go to MIB.
They all don't go to MIB. Some go to Chisholm.
You're right.
Some go to
Cherry.
Cherry.
Right.
Some go to, I believe it's called Marquette.
But our school is Buhl.
Marquette, yeah.
But your school district.
Our district is Buhl.
Yeah, yeah.
But there again, that's up to you. You're spending the parents' money to donate to Mountain Iron Buhl, and maybe if those other schools would ask, you'd do the same for them, but that's not my choice.
Not a big amount.
No.
No, it's not.
And that's our,
And it is the school for our,
yeah, for our community, it's our home district.
yeah.
And you got enough donations back or money back from them.
And it's for the students.
That's true.
It is.
That's true.
It is.
But it's not.
So,
Yeah, that's,
do we need more further discussion?
can we afford it? That's the big thing. If we can afford it and you want to do it, that's up to you.
Make the roll call.
All right.
You can't, it's got to be for electrical.
With no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. 1 page.
What you doing?
One.
The whole book.
Excellent. All right. Any other business? No? Councilors' comments? Council, the floor is yours.
I'll just want to say like how wonderful the Halloween parade and the party and then the dance went very well, and it was a lot of fun. So I think the rec board, you guys are outstanding and very structured, and it was a very good job. So a couple things coming up. There is going to be a painting on November 11th. So this Saturday at the Buhl Library, if you want to do it, it's a, what is it called? I can't remember the name.
Is it up on the bulletin boards?
No, we actually, so I'm getting the, so we had to have, so to get it colored printed, we like got it somewhere else. So I'm grabbing the color printing and bringing it tomorrow. So it should be up there. I know it's like quick notice. But yeah, so it's, what is it, draw by paint or whatever? I can't remember the term that is called.
Paint by numbers?
Well, no, it's not paint by numbers. But there's going to be an artist and then you draw it. But it's free to everybody. If you do want to do it, you just have to email Buhl Teen Center at gmail.com. And there's only 15 people that is allotted to that. So if you want to do it, make sure that you get your name into that. The other big thing is on, both of those I'm excited for. December 3rd is going to be porch pots they're going to be doing, and that's going to be at the community center here in Buhl. And that also, I believe, is going to be 15 people. And so make sure that you email to, and that there'll be posters for that too. And it's make sure that to email at buhlteencenter@gmail.com. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you guys though, because you did bring out a lot of ideas that maybe the city hasn't done with the letters to the people. I think it's something that we can work forward with. I do believe it opened the eyes of, you know, I know that we do it, but I didn't know that we didn't do it here, you know. So for me, you know, it was, okay, why haven't we? It's a great idea to get these newsletters out to what's going on with these projects. So thank you for all of that. I mean,
even those new people that are up there, the 10 new people, I don't know if they're all sold or not. Did you guys send a letter to them to say your lot is ready to build?
No, again, I'm just saying thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up. I think it's something that we can work forward in the future, Mr. Jeffries, and I do think it's very important, so thank you. And then I'll just bring up one other thing that's happening in Buhl on November 18th. The turkey bingo is going on at the Senior Citizens Center. So other than that, again, the Halloween party was fantastic.
Are they doing anything at the library, anything for Veterans Day?
They used to do a veterans program up at the cemetery, and then they would have a breakfast luncheon at the senior center, and that used to be the Mackey family that would put the breakfast on. I can't tell you that's happening this year.
I don't either, and I know that Billy's the cafe is honoring the veterans that day, but I don't know of any program.
Well, and it used to be a memorial program up at the cemetery, wasn't it? At like 9 o'clock in the morning, and they did the.
I don't.
Yeah.
They do.
Oh yes.
Well, I know
they did
Memorial Day.
I do.
Memorial Day?
Yeah, Memorial
I thought
Day.
it was Veterans Day also. Well, maybe not.
Why do you want to send everybody out in the cold like that?
Well, you know what, it wasn't anything that I just donated to it every year, but maybe they do it on Memorial Day now instead. Which is
they did this last year.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, that was Memorial.
But it still could be cold in May too.
That's it.
Anything more?
No.
Yes. the
Halloween was
Mackeys.
great, yeah. The dance went off perfectly, I thought, and thank you guys for doing the treat trot. I thought that was a success again this year. Nothing else?
Nothing?
No.
Mike, you got anything?
How much is in this?
Nothing this time.
Nope.
Catherine
Nothing.
did it.
Well, apologies for not making the dance. I was under the weather. I did make the parade, and that was really good. So thank you to everybody who was involved in that. That was amazing.
We do have a scheduled budget meeting, correct? Did we not schedule that for November 30th or whatever to put out there?
We
didn't
did
schedule
not,
it.
Didn't schedule it?
we did not schedule
We're
it
waiting.
yet.
Okay, we're waiting for the
Sewer district.
sewer district.
The
to have-
budget from the sewer district, and then we'll schedule one, which should be next council meeting. We should be scheduling our next working session.
Yes, sir.
All right. Excellent.
And that we're just waiting for the sewer district to come up with their budget because they have not finished theirs and they were requesting a lot more information than they've ever given before. So they're a little bit behind again with their budget. So we can't work on any of ours until, or the majority of ours, till they get theirs.
That's acceptable. That's certainly.
So watch, anybody interested in the budget meetings, the working sessions, the next council meeting, we should schedule another one. We'll list the time and date, and they're held right here, just like every other meeting.
I do have a question for Mr. Jeffries. Why is it that I attend Virginia's working sessions for their budget? They're broke, but I still have friends that live in Virginia, and their working session is on one of these, and anybody can walk in there, but it's on this.
That's another expense to our budget.
Yeah, anybody can walk into our budget meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's open to the public. We just don't record it because
It's expensive.
it's, yeah, budgeted for
But
so
they
many
do it
meetings.
during their, they call it a council of the whole.
And the committee of the whole.
Committee of the whole, and they do it during their council meetings.
You can do it that way, but you can also do it the way that this is doing it and Chisholm does it this way and.
I don't care about Chisholm.
Well, I'm just
Well,
saying,
and-
there are people that do it this way.
Well,
And
Chisholm actually puts their entire stuff as far as writing checks. I can look at the newspaper and tell who Chisholm wrote a check to, Joe Blow's Electric or,
That was a good point because I actually brought that up to Diana, that the
See
audit
that on
committee
TV?
really needs to do, but that's that's another.
I understand, but I'm
That's
saying
a lot
it's
more out of
because
that
of your
admin budget.
Chisholm population. I did call the League of Cities, and it's because we are too little, and you are bigger, and that's why you are mandated by Minnesota to put that in the newspaper. So-and-so landscaping, you paid them $100 or $1,000 or whatever, so that everybody can figure out and see where their money is going. It makes people feel better.
well, and Mel, another reason for the working sessions, it wasn't just council's decision, staff, Tony and Diana were on board and wanted to do this. If we were to go through this whole agenda and then jump into a working session, I mean, we would literally be here till midnight. So having a separate meeting just dedicated to discussion on the budget, we're focused on one thing versus all of these items.
Well, I mean, when I'm just a layperson, and when I can figure out how much you've already spent on total two people, it scares me that you're not keeping track of like $71,000 in the library fund. If they ask for a nickel, I would say to them, well, what are you doing with your money that's in the checkbook that you've already got? Plus, you're getting more. You know, things like that. And we don't know that you're even asking those questions. So that's what scares all of us.
I actually do have a printout of the expenses for the library that I'm looking at. And
I'm sure you do, but I didn't know
the
that.
next budget, so.
You know what I'm saying? How are we supposed to know that?
Come to the meetings,
Well,
right?
possibly.
We're here, and obviously we'll take the time to have the discussions. I mean, we're supposed to be adjourned right now.
Well,
I want to ask one other question after you're done.
Go ahead.
Discussing. Nothing has been said about the water tank. I know you had said at probably one of the first meetings.
We're waiting to get the results back from the inspection.
Well, you had said you were going to get the results by the end of October.
I haven't heard word
That's what you
they're in
had
yet.
stated at one of the meetings. You said, we will know the results by the end of October.
Well, it's November 6th here, so.
And we're past the end of October, and you haven't gotten a report yet. So, you know, this is an interest for me, and I think for many other people in town, of the water tank and just exactly what's gonna transpire from all this and come out of all
If we haven't received the report yet, it's out of our hands, is it not?
I understand that, but you had stated, like I said, that the end of October, we should have the report.
These are time frames relayed to us from the organizations.
Have you checked into why you why they haven't finished with this report?
Mr. Jeffries, could you give us an update on where that's at?
The tank assessment contractor indicated the end of October for the expectation of the report. It has not been received yet as far as I know. I cannot this week follow back up with Public Works. They're not available, but as of last week, that was the same story. The company had not yet delivered the report to the city.
Thank you, sir.
The contractor didn't get it done.
All right.
Here we go.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Okay,